Come on. There we go. Okay, guys. All right. Took a while. But welcome to ZTKM Sports Talk. We're going to keep it anonymous. We don't have to go and mention any names of who's going to be part of the sports talk. Today we're going to be talking about basketball, or starting just an in-depth talk about basketball in general. Since the offseason has almost been officially done, the only thing we're really waiting for is Carmelo Anthony to possibly get traded to the Houston Rockets. There's also talk of him maybe going to Portland instead, which would have been pretty crazy with Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Carmelo Anthony. But today we're going to be talking about maybe a start. We're going to be talking about starting 5 players for each team who we think is going to start for starting 5. Worst and best player for each team. Players that are on the bench that possibly might start eventually, and the starter that they're going to be replacing with is going to go to the bench. Who we would like to see as to be the starters instead. There's 2 different ways. Like there's who is going to start and who we'd like to see start, and then we're going to say what their final record is going to be by the end of the season, and what player on that team was going to be traded by the end of the trade deadline. And for each video, for podcast, we're going to do about 4 teams per segment. And so let's go ahead and let's get started with the Atlanta Hawks. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to mention every single person's name. We got Kent Bazemore, Marco Bellinelli, DeAndre Bembry, John Collins, Dwayne Dedmon, Malcolm Delaney, Tyler Dorsey, Chris Humphreys, Ersan Ilyasova, Mike Muscala, Miles Plumlee, Turian Prince, Dennis Schroeder, and Diamond Stone. The record last year was 43-39, and they were the 5th seed last year. And I mean, they were 5th overall in just the Eastern Conference in general. Of course, we all know that the Eastern Conference was absolutely atrocious this past year in general, and they're going to be even worse this year with all the players that have been traded away and signed to the Western Conference, which I don't know why they did that in general. But I'm not going to go and start with the starting 5 myself, because I am doing all the talking right now. I'm going to allow some other people to go ahead and start to do some talking. And who would like to go first?
I will, I guess. Dennis Schroeder is obviously going to be, he's the best player on the team, so he's going to be their starting point. Probably Ilyasova will be the starting power forward. Dwayne Dedmon will be the starting center. Kent Bazemore will be starting small forward. And then Marco Bellinelli will probably be the starting shooting guard.
Okay. I'll go with Dennis Schroeder as point guard. Probably go with, boy, it's a tough one. Bellinelli or Bazemore. Probably go with Bellinelli as a shooting guard. Forwards, I'll go with Ilyasova, and probably go with John Collins. And then at center, boy, Dwayne Dedmon probably is center. That's my starting 5.
Okay.
I don't know any of those players.
Okay.
None of them.
Okay.
I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know any of those.
Okay, I mean,
I know Bellinelli, he's going to start. That's about all I know on that team.
okay. Yeah, this might be a little more difficult team. My buddy doesn't really know much about basketball as everybody, the 3 of us, but mainly, like what Zach, I mean, you can pretty much go with any of the lineups that we had discussed before. I'm going to go with Dennis Schroeder myself at point guard, Marco Bellinelli at shooting guard, Kent Bazemore at small forward, Ersan Ilyasova at power forward, and Dwayne Dedmon at center. some of the pieces when it comes to this team is pretty changeable. The only person that you're really going to start every single game is Dennis Schroeder after them trading away Jeff Teague to allow him to have the starting position at point guard. Then we're going to go and mention our worst and best player. I'm going to go with their best player. I think at the beginning of the season he might start a little rugged, but eventually make himself a really good elite rim protector. Maybe is John Collins. His rookie year, he had a great summer league series, and so I'm gonna go with John Collins as my best player, and my worst player will probably be probably Miles Plumlee. I think with him getting paid $12 million a year, he's going to come off the bench and not play as much minutes as what he's getting paid for. But when it comes to starting five, though, that's what we're doing right now. I'd probably have to say Kent Bazemore for him getting paid $14 million a year. So I'm going to have to probably go with Kent Bazemore myself.
I like John Collins a lot. He looked really good in the summer league. I don't know if he's going to be able to surpass Dennis Schroeder as their top player, though. He would be the only one on the list that I see that could even possibly do it. Maybe Prince could, but he didn't have that great of a year last year due to injury, I believe. The worst player, or the player that's going to do the worst, I'm going to say it's Mike Muscala again. I don't think he's going to play. So if you don't play, you can't do good.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Let's see, I'll go with Schroeder as my best player starting, and as far as my worst player starting, would probably be Dwayne Dedman. Don't know a lot about him, so I would think of all those players, I think he's probably the one that I'd try to say would be the worst.
I think really the category of player that's on the bench is the only one that we have to really say, because the worst player that's on the starting lineup that we had just mentioned as the worst player is going to eventually go and get to the bench, but we can go ahead and say who the best player that is on the bench will eventually make their way to the starting lineup. And I'll probably have to go with Taurean Prince, and he'll eventually replace Kent Bazemore. Yeah, like what Zach has, or somebody had said, completely botched that. I think he'll eventually replace Kent Bazemore just because he's younger, doesn't have as much pressure to play at a high performance, because Bazemore's making way much more money than Taurean Prince.
I think Taurean Prince will probably go. Similar reasons, but I think it's going to be Bellinelli that gets the kick, because I think they're going to keep Bazemore and drop him down to the shooting guard, and I don't see Bellinelli in his old age being able to keep up with the young talent that they have between Schroeder, Bazemore, Collins, and Prince.
I think for my starting lineup, I had Ilyasova as my power forward. I think eventually John Collins will probably come in to take his place, and Ilyasova could come off the bench, which would make an excellent sixth man, since he's a little bit probably more of a veteran. But I've heard good things about John Collins, so it sounds like he'd be the guy off the bench.
Now we're going to go ahead and do record. I do not see them doing better than what they did last year. They don't have a player that is going to close out games, have cold ice veins, that he's going to give them the wins that they need to make the playoffs. I think they're going to go probably 35-47 myself.
Wait, you said 45 and 37?
35.
Oh.
35 and 47.
Okay. That's way too many wins. They're gonna be lucky If they broke 30, they'd be lucky. I'm going to only say 25.
Wow.
So 25 and whatever, 57.
Wow. I'll probably go with 30 and 42. They're going to be
52?
52. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 30 and 52. They're going to be quite a bit worse than they were last year.
Who would we like to see for the starting five? I would like to see Dennis Schroeder at point guard, shooting guard, probably Taurean Prince at shooting guard, a little bit more height than Kent Bazemore. Well, actually, putting Bazemore at shooting guard would be more his style because he used to be a shooting guard. Then Taurean Prince, Ilyasova, and John Collins. John Collins being very athletic. This would be a very athletic team. John Collins plays excellent defense. Dennis Schroeder plays pretty decent defense. Overall, it's a decent defensive team, and there would be very athletic and very young team with that starting five for me.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder, Kent Bazemore, Prince, Collins, and I want a new center. Just there. I don't like any of the three of them.
Yeah.
Maybe if Stone did better, he could do something, but Dwayne Dedman is by far the best out of that. Like, it's not even a contest to start.
Who I'd like to start would be, of course, Schroeder. I'll probably go with Bazemore as my shooting guard. Then what I'd like to see is John Collins starting, and then Dedman at center and forwards. Boy, that's a tough one. Probably go with Ilyasova again and Prince.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not a bad one. And then, what is the one player that we're going to probably end up seeing getting traded away? I think I could see Kent Bazemore getting traded away because eventually they're going to get rid of that big contract that he has for money. Taurean Prince will slide in for that starting position because Bellinelli's really decent at threes, but I could see Bellinelli possibly getting traded.
I just can't see anybody taking that contract for Bazemore for them to actually trade him.
Yeah.
Maybe no, because I like one of their power forwards, like Humphreys or Ilyasova, for a pick for next year or something like that, just to continue to help rebuild and get rid of an old player for a potential awesome player.
Yeah, my guy's Ilyasova because somebody likes to pick up a veteran at the trade deadline. And Ilyasova can play, and he's an old veteran, so
Yeah, when
he'll probably be the guy.
when you see your rookies not panning out the way
Yeah.
you want to try to get one of the older players
Right.
that help you out.
And plus,
through
they're
the
gonna be.
playoffs.
Plus, let's face it, they'll probably be tanking anyway, so they'll probably want to.
We want to let him be able to play with a playoff team,
Playoff
maybe
team
be able to
and-
contend and stuff like that.
They
He's
probably won't-
getting a little bit too old to be sitting here with a rebuilding
Team.
squad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, that's the Atlanta Hawks discussion. On to the Boston Celtics. We got Kadeem Allen, Jabari Bird, Jaylen Brown, Jay Crowder, Gerald Green, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Demetrius Jackson, Jonas Drebko, Marcus Morris, Semel. How do you pronounce that? July. Tony Rozier, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Isaiah Thomas, James Young, and Ante Zizic. And this time I'll go ahead and I'll do my starting five. Who is going to start for the starting five? Isaiah Thomas. I can see them doing Jaylen Brown at shooting guard. Joe Green not Joe Green, but Gordon Hayward at small forward.
They have a lot of options.
They have. They do. Actually, I would take that back. I'll slide Gordon Hayward down to power forward. Slide J.D. Crowder at small forward, and Al Horford at center. By the way, I forgot to mention, it showed on several of the websites that Jonas Repko has signed with another team, and Demetrius Jackson has been waived by the Celtics. So some of these teams will show extra players, but they are either waived or signed with another team. But it showed on the other websites that they are on that team still.
Isaiah Thomas is obviously going to be the starter as well as Al Horford. And I don't see them moving Hayward out of his position unless they just can't get anything done trade-wise with all these people. Because I mean, if they don't, I see Jay Crowder being their shooting guard for an extra defensive player, and then that throws like Jason Tatum. I would see him as a better, well, for power forward, Hayward would definitely be stronger than him. But Marcus Morris, yeah, they just traded to get him. Well, he'll be the power forward for the start.
Oh yeah, Marcus Morris. That's right.
I'll probably go with Isaiah Thomas as my guard, along with
Do they not have Zeller anymore?
No.
No, they got waived.
Where'd he go?
He hasn't not signed with the team yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Thomas and that's a tough one. Marcus Smart probably is my guards. Forwards, I'll have Marcus Morris and Gordon Hayward, and then center Al Horford.
Okay. Would you like to try this time on this one, since you know a lot more players?
I'm doing Isaiah, Gordon Hayward, Tatum, Horford, and then either Brown or Crowder could be switched out.
Okay. Their worst player probably will be Marcus Morris, just because he's not going to have to do as much for their starting five. Al Horford will start his shooting his threes. He'll get you a couple of rebounds. But Marcus Morris is going to be like Tristan Thompson. He's going to get you rebounds. He's not going to be the most effective player on the starting five. And then their best player will probably be... It might be Isaiah Thomas, just like last year. He has the ball in his hands all the time. He is so fast. His shot is fast. I could see him possibly still being that, but he's not going to have as much touches because of Gordon Hayward. But I still say Isaiah Thomas would be their best player.
I agree with Isaiah Thomas being their best player. Like, he has the ball in his hand. He decides basically if Gordon Hayward even touches it for the most part. The worst player is going to be Marcus Morris. I see them trying to get rid of Marcus Morris and Jay Crowder both to get a better player for that extra spot and get rid of some of that extra cap money that they have, because they are in the red so bad.
I'm going to shake some things up here. I think it's going to be Gordon Hayward as their best player this year, because he's going to be so glad to be back with Brad Stevens that he's going to really go nuts this year. And Thomas won't have to score as much as he did last year, so he'll be able to get the ball to Hayward, and he can score. He'll probably be up in the mid-20s as far as scoring this season. Mm-hmm. He's going to come into his own this year.
Okay.
He's on a lot better, well, not maybe a lot better team, but he's on a better team than he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Going Isaiah Thomas is best player as long as he's healthy. with that injury last year. I think it was a knee.
Was it a knee?
Yeah, he ended up getting hurt. Oh yeah, that's right. He got hurt.
As long as he's healthy, he'll be the best
Was it
player.
his hip? I know he got hurt near the end of that playoffs.
Playoffs,
Yeah, he
yeah.
got hurt pretty bad.
Against
Yeah.
the Cavs.
Yeah.
Worst player.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, you could really pick any of them, but they need another center to back up for Horford.
Yeah.
Player that might come off the bench that might eventually start. I mean, the shooting guard position and the power forward position are both able to be switched out back and forth because Marcus Morris, he might actually start more often at the power forward position more than anybody else, just because he's such a bigger guy than Jaylen Brown, Jay Crowder, and Gordon Hayward. But the shooting guard position, on the other hand, I said probably Jaylen Brown is their shooting guard, but eventually he'll get traded, go to the bench, and I can see maybe Jason Tatum going to the shooting guard position, have some really long length to him, and be able to shoot threes would be really nice. So
yeah, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if they're not starters, they're the best candidates to be starters before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Jason Tatum because he's what was he, fourth pick in the draft? Third pick in the draft. So it's hard to keep a guy like that on the bench for long. So he'll be starting probably eventually as the season goes on.
I have Tatum starting, so
okay.
I don't know who would come off the bench for him.
Maybe Jay Crowder or
you got options. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Crowder could come off the bench for Tatum, or it could be Green could come off something.
Yeah. Who would you like to see be the starters? Isaiah Thomas for me. Jay Crowder. Gordon Hayward, Marcus Morris, and Al Horford. Just because Jay Crowder has came into his own this past couple of years, and he's not an amazing player, but he's not their worst player, and I wish he would be able to still start because he has done so well, but I would not be surprised if he got switched out by somebody else.
Isaiah Thomas, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and if Gordon Hayward can handle the four, I would think he would be a decent one there because he would be a lot faster than a lot of them, so he'd be able to score pretty much at will. And he's kind of, I don't want to call him big, but he's bigger for being a small forward. He's 6'8", 230, 240, something like that. I think he's 230. Let's not say he's 240.
40,
get mad at that.
Yeah.
And then I don't really like Al Horford, but there's no other option for center. Unless you put Marcus Morris, and that just sounds terrible.
Let's see. I'll probably go with Isaiah Thomas and. This is a team that I'd like to see. I'd like to see Isaiah Thomas and Jason Tatum, along with Gordon Hayward and Jay Crowder, along with Al Horford.
I'm going to go with the same as earlier. It's Isaiah, Tatum, Hayward, Horford, and then you can either switch out Crowder or
Brown?
Yeah, Brown.
Okay. The record, 53 and 29. They didn't lose anything significant. They gained Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum.
I would call Avery Bradley loss a decent.
That's that defense. Woo.
I mean, they replaced him with a player that is better, but it's still.
Defense has been lost with Avery Bradley. Their defense is going to hurt still, but I don't see them doing any worse than their record, where the record was, because they're just so stacked that they can pretty much switch out any player and still be able to do really good.
I think their record's going to be close to the same.
Yep.
Because in the Eastern Conference, they're going to do well, but when it comes to playing the West players, the West teams,
I'd say 50-32. I think I can see them losing 3 games just because they're
adjusting to new people.
Yep.
I'll probably go with 2 more wins, 55 and 27.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. I really like the idea of Gordon Hayward coming back to play with Stevens, and I'm going to go one up on that and say 56.
Okay.
I'm going close to the same.
56 and 26. Okay. Player that might get traded by the end of the day, by the end of the deadline, trade deadline. I'm gonna have to go with probably Jay Crowder and Marcus Smart will get traded to the Pelicans for DeMarcus Cousins. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's what
Somebody's a dreamer.
they'll also trade that first pick for this upcoming year of the Nets.
No, that's ridiculous.
You're crazy.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just
I
saying.
want some of the drugs you're on.
I'm just saying. I mean, they're already talking. DeMarcus Cousins coming to the Celtics. So
No way. And if the Pelicans were cool with that, the NBA would deny that trade. There's no way they would let that team exist. Like, well, no, then again, because they let the Western Conference All-Stars together.
Yeah, the Warriors.
Go still gotta watch their money though.
I like Jay Crowder getting traded, and maybe throwing in Brown too, just because they picked up Tatum. They don't need that many small forwards. Or as for who to get, they really need another guard. Marcus Smart was all over the place last year, random craziness, and Isaiah Thomas is so little. He's just gonna get broken. Saying it, I know things and stuff.
Probably for my trade, boy, most likely be Jay Crowder, because of his age. You know, I don't know how. Really, I shouldn't say I don't even know how old he is.
he's 27, same
He's
age
not that
as Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, so he's not that old.
No.
Yeah, well,
He's
I
just
don't know.
really, really slow.
I just think he's the most likely candidate to get traded.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be able to play
More
starter
often,
minutes,
more often.
and Gordon Hayward is
Gonna
going
take
to be
his spots.
taking those
Yeah.
starter minutes. So
I'm gonna go with Crowder traded. I don't know who for, but they need a big. So
Yeah, need another
so
center,
when
don't
Horford
they?
comes
Yeah.
out, they need somebody coming. For
Yeah, right now they don't have anybody. Well,
Because playing Hayward as a center is just ridiculous.
yeah.
all right, on to the Brooklyn Nets, the best team in the NBA as of right now. 20-62 record. That's a pretty damn good team right there. Boo, boo, Brooklyn, boo. Okay, so we got Quincy Acey, Jarrett Allen, Trevor Booker, DeMari Carroll, Spencer Dinwiddie, Randy Foye, Archie Goodwin, Joe Harris, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, Sean Kilpatrick, Karis LeVert, Jeremy Lin, KJ McDaniels, the great Timothy Mozgov, Andrew Nicholson, the phone recording D'Angelo Russell, Alexander Vezenkov, and Isaiah Whitehead. Would someone else like to go ahead and do their starting 5 instead of me, or do you want me to go ahead and do mine?
Go ahead, Zach.
We got D'Angelo Russell, obviously. He's definitely going to be their starting point. Probably Sean Kilpatrick.
Awfulness.
Yeah. The forwards will probably be Hollis Jefferson and Damari Carroll. As to which one plays the 3 and which one plays the 4 is up in the air. Probably Carroll will play the 4 just because he's bigger. And then Mozgov as the starting center.
I would probably go the same. D'Angelo Russell. The other guard, Sean Kilpatrick or Levert, they're not very good. No, none of these guys are very good.
You don't want Linsanity in there?
Well, they're both point guards. That's not a problem. I guess it shows Jeremy Lin's a point guard. I guess that's what they consider it as. I guess they could make him a shooting guard. So I'd probably go Russell and Lynn, Hollis Jefferson and Carroll, and then Mozgov as the center.
I got D'Angelo, Jeremy Lin, Mozgov, and whoever else wants to play. Everybody else is just terrible.
My starting 5 is D'Angelo Russell at point, Jeremy Lin at shooting guard.
Did you pick Lin?
You got Rondé Hollis Jefferson at small forward, Damari Carroll at power forward. No. Well, I make him a lot more athletic, putting Damari Carroll at power forward. Actually, I'll take that back. Rondé's going to probably come off the bench. Damari Carroll will probably start with how much money he's making. Trevor Booker and Timothy Mozgov is my starting 5. The best player will probably be
Russell.
I can see Russell.
Yeah,
I could see Russell. I could also see him falling apart, not doing as well as they've always made him out to be. And Jeremy Lin.
Wait. He can fall apart more than he already has?
Yeah, I mean, could be even worse. He could average like 4 turnovers a game, and shooting
going
worse.
from the Lakers to the Nets is just a super lateral move.
It is.
Like,
It is.
Just being a player, though, yeah, to being a player.
They're worse.
He's going to be the best player on their team, but there's nobody else around him. So he's still just going to look bad.
Yeah.
And their worst player will probably be.
whoever plays shooting guard.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. Probably Timothy Mozgov. He's not going to do as well as he's making $14 million a year. I think eventually he's. That's a whole other category, which we're about to get into. But my worst player will probably be Timothy Mozgov.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell definitely be the best, and whoever starts at shooting guard is going to be the worst. There's like 18 guards, and all of them are garbage.
Yeah, my best player would be D'Angelo Russell, and my worst would probably be Mozgov for right now.
Yeah, best player is Russell, and they're all the worst players. It really doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
It's just who does less terrible.
All of them.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think the person
They're
that's going
so bad, I'm saying they're going to get first round pick next year.
Well, yeah, but they've already gotten rid of it.
Really? Where'd it go?
It's the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're stupid.
They're idiots.
They need to just blow up this whole team.
I think Jared Allen will probably eventually make his way to the starting position just because Timothy is not going to do, again, as well as what people make him out to do. That's my player that I think will eventually come and start is Jared Allen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I kind of like him more coming into the power forward spot just because he's a little shorter. And then that would give them a good power forward center. Well, a good power forward and then a center.
Well, I would if I weren't starting Jeremy Lin with Russell, I'd probably say if Russell tanks totally this year, I'd probably put Jeremy Lin in his position. But if Russell plays well, it's going to probably be the what you guys were saying, Jared Allen for Mozgov. But D'Angelo Russell is maybe a little overrated for coming in the draft as high as he is. So I
Yeah.
don't know. He may have a rough year being on this team because his team's not much better than the Lakers, or actually maybe worse than the Lakers. So.
Allen for Mozgov, because
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
that's it.
I mean, any of these players could
Yeah, pretty
be
much.
starters on any.
Interchangeable.
Yep, interchangeable.
But that one just makes more sense because Mozgov's old, not that good as a center. So.
Right.
My starting five I would like to my starting five I would like for them to start is D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Damari Carroll, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, and Jarrett Allen, just because it's a very athletic, pretty well young team right there, starting five. They'd be moving up and down the court quickly, but you also don't want to go and just tank because, again, you're not going to be getting a pick this year, and it just carries over to the next year, so you might as well tank for one more year, so it doesn't really matter who starts right now.
I think the Nets should just not play any games, except against the Pacers to give them some wins. Even then, though, the Pacers might not be able to take advantage of that. The way they're playing and their awful office, who did absolutely nothing.
Who I'd like to see play is Jared Allen at center, and then Damari Carroll along with Rondé Hollis Jefferson, D'Angelo Russell, and probably Karis LeVert.
I don't even care. Their team is awful. And
Thank you.
the record's going to be even worse.
Yeah, their record's probably going to be like. I think the 76ers, when they were at their all-time low, managed to win 13 games. So I see them being able to handle 20 wins just with D'Angelo Russell having a couple decent games.
How many wins?
They won only 13
No,
games in 1 year.
how many do you think this team is going to
Oh, I think their record will be the exact same as what it is there.
I feel like it's going to be even worse.
They might be.
What do you say, Kyle?
Like subbing Brooke Lopez for D'Angelo, I feel like they can score about the same, and they won 20 games with Brooke Lopez. So
I would have to go and I'd say them maybe going 22 and 60 because Rondé Hollis Jefferson is an athletic young man that can be the future of this team. D'Angelo Russell can be his little wingman, and they can work together to make this team a brighter future. Right now, it's not going to happen, but I think them getting at least 2 more wins with those two.
I'll go 18 and 64. I'll go a couple less
Oh, man.
wins or losses.
We're going to go 10 and like
Wins.
72.
Like 7 and a lot. They're going to be awful.
7 and 75?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be all-time
NBA
worst.
record.
Yeah, they're going to be terrible.
I don't know what the actual record is of like what's the worst record.
The 76ers like 2 years ago.
9.
13 wins?
13.
19,
Oh, okay.
13 wins.
Whatever.
Woo! Okay. I would ask this question to you guys, and that's about who could possibly get traded at the trade deadline, but
Every single
I think all of them could possibly get traded.
Yeah. Except for maybe Russell. Russell's probably the only guy that probably
Really?
would.
I don't even know about that because they might want to trade him so they can get a pick back.
Well, yeah,
start
if they were trying to
rebuilding.
get another pick, they may try to put together.
The only person that I could see possibly not getting traded is Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
How long do they get Russell? What's his contract?
He's a rookie. This is only going to be his third year.
So he's still under the
He
rookie.
still has like 2 more years.
I was thinking it was 2.
Yeah, after this upcoming year, so they have pretty much 3 years.
I think it depends on how well he's doing this year. If he's doing really well, some team's probably going to want to get him. So,
If he does really well, I think they'll keep him.
or they can
Just
keep
for-
him. Yeah.
Just for rebuild around him because they only have him 2 years, and after that, he's gonna leave anyway.
Apparently,
But they could trade anything.
I was mistaken. In 1972, the 76ers only won 9 games.
So we're still gonna have a new record. So they're only at 7.
9 and 7.
But I think Galande's the only one I can see not being traded. Everybody else I could see getting traded.
Trade deadline, yeah.
That being said, guys, I think everybody else says that everybody can get traded. We are going to go ahead and move on to the Charlotte Hornets. We have Dwayne Bacon, Nicholas Batum, Michael Carter-Williams, Trevor Graham, Dwight Howard, Frank Kaminsky, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Jeremy Lamb, Malik Monk, Johnny O'Brien III, Brian Roberts, Ramon Sessions, Kemba Walker, Bryant Weber, Marvin Williams, and Cody Zeller. I'll go ahead and do my starting 5. Kemba Walker. Nicholas Batum, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Marvin Williams, and Dwight Howard are my starting 5.
Kemba Walker is definitely going to start. Dwight Howard, with his contract, I can't see them letting him sit on the bench. Batum will probably start over Malik Monk just because Malik Monk adjusting to this NBA. Kidd-Gilchrist, and then Marvin Williams because they like him a lot for some reason.
I'll go with center Dwight Howard. Forwards, I'll go with Gilchrist and let's see, Marvin Williams. And then guards, I'll go with Batum and Kemba Walker.
Let's go Walker, Howard, Carter Williams, Gilchrist, and I don't know.
You're looking at the center? Is that what you're looking at?
No, I got Howard.
Oh, you got Howard.
I got Howard, Gilchrist, Carter Williams, and
Walker.
Walker.
So you just need a forward.
So the 2016 76ers only won 10, actually.
Probably like Marvin. I guess.
Marvin Williams.
Okay.
They had 10 wins.
10 wins in 2016.
Wow.
The 76ers.
Nice.
Wow.
2015, 2016. 10 wins.
What's next?
Worst and best players.
Easily Kemba. Marvin Williams. That is the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle.
Kemba Walker probably by far is gonna be the best player. He's been their starting point guard for the past 5 years, 6 years. The worst player I could see.
Howard.
No, I was about to say Howard. I can see him. His body's going to start aching. He's going to start complaining. He's going to eventually move to the bench. He shouldn't because he's making $23 million a year, but he's eventually going to go to the bench for either Cody Zeller or they're going to switch up their way of playing and get Howard on the bench eventually.
Yep.
I'd go definitely Kemba Walker is their best. I'd say Dwight Howard because of he just is losing his legs and stuff because of his age. But Kidd-Gilchrist is not exactly a ball of fire when it comes to offense. He can't score, but he can play some good defense. So he'll probably. But so right now, probably Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Kemba's the best. Howard's the worst, and then eventually Howard's gonna get put on the bench for probably Zeller.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Zeller does terrible like he did last year, and he got hurt, I think even.
Yeah, he only played 62 games. We looked to see how well he did last year, and he only had 62 games, so he missed 20 games. That's quite a bit for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's always had bad legs, I think, is what his issue is.
Yeah.
He's really good off the bench. So I think when Howard starts deteriorating, Zeller's just going to get more minutes. And Zeller's still not going to be the best starter, so they'll probably just divide minutes.
Between Kaminsky and him,
I think the way Kaminsky played last year, I think he's going to come into his own and eventually come from the bench and start eventually. It's either going to be starting at the power forward position and Martin's going to the bench, or they're going to switch the different style of play and slide Howard to the bench and have him be the starting center.
I could definitely see Kaminsky just because he plays a stretch big and throw him in at the power forward spot, play kind of
small,
like Dirkish, but not really in the paint because he's
a smaller lineup type of thing, but faster. Yeah.
Well, no, Kaminsky's big.
Well, he's a big kid guy, but as far as he can at least go out and shoot threes, so
spread it out.
Spread it out. Whereas Howard can't shoot further than a foot away from the basket.
But if anybody's coming off the bench, I think Malik Monk is coming off the bench fast. Batum or Gilchrist, I'm not really sure which one it's going to be for, but because Batum can slide to the small forward spot if he needed to for Malik Monk, because Malik Monk's only like 6'3", so he's definitely going to take the 2 spot. But I definitely see him coming in and taking one of those 2 guys' spots.
I forgot. What are we doing?
Who we think is going to be well, who the bench player is going to eventually become a starter.
I think you guys. I think Dwight Howard could go to the bench and Kaminsky could come in, or Cody Zeller. Well, if Cody Zeller was healthy, it'd probably be Cody Zeller, but if he's not, it'd be Kaminsky. So it's definitely the center position who they're gonna switch around. In fact, Howard may not play as much this year. They may just keep it a rotating center kind of thing where they each play. Was it?
It's a 48-minute game.
48 minutes, 60 minutes apiece. Kind of keep Howard healthy maybe for the whole season. So
I can see that.
Yeah. That way he can't play 40 minutes anymore.
Who to be the starters? Kemba Walker, Malik Monk, Nicholas Batum, Frank Kaminsky, and Cody Zeller. You got some athletic players. You got some 3-pointers. You got the Swiss Army kind of style in Nicholas Batum where he can do a little bit of everything for you. And then having Dwight Howard and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist coming off the bench is some really good defensive presence for that bench, and so that'd be pretty huge for them to have those 2 coming off the bench for me.
Kemba Walker, Malik Monk, Kidd-Gilchrist, if he stops being terrible. Like, he has such high potential, and he just, and then this is going to be a weird one, but I would like Batum to be in the power forward spot. The Pacers did that with CJ Miles, and it didn't work that poorly, and it added like a random offensive angle because you either pull out the 4 to guard him or you leave Batum open on the perimeter, and he can definitely hit that. And then definitely Cody Zeller for center.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Zeller at center, and as guards I'll have Kemba Walker and Malik Monk. And forwards I'll go with Batum and that's a tough one. Probably I may go with Frank Kaminsky as power forward and keep Dwight Howard on the bench.
Going Kemba, Carter Williams, Monk, Gilchrist, Zeller for sure.
Zeller.
And who do I got? I got 2 points.
I think that was 5.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of that though, you almost kind of want to put
'Cause it's
Carter
going-
Williams at small forward though, just because he's 6'6".
He's got some length.
And
He's got
Yeah,
some
he's
length.
taller. And
Yeah.
I'm going based on like speed because they don't
Yeah.
really have a big man
Yeah.
other than Howard. But when he comes out, you just
Well, I
go-
was just thinking he's
Really
6'6", where Matt Monk's only 6'3", so Carter Williams could play the small forward spot and be like, what's his name, Tyreek Evans was.
Yeah.
Going to the record, they didn't really lose anything. They didn't like gain anything. I mean, they gained a $23 million contract. That is going to be pretty awful. They actually did gain a pretty significant player in Malik Monk.
Yeah,
Uh,
what, 5th pick of the draft?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to go with probably at the most of 4 more wins, being 40 and 42. At the most.
I like him going even, or, I mean, just because the East is so bad, the explosiveness that they have now with all those guards, I feel like they could definitely take the 41 and 41 or 42 and 40 even.
Yeah, I go probably 42 and 40. They're gonna be a little bit better than they were last year.
yeah, 42 and 40. I'll go with that.
Do you guys think they're going to make the playoffs?
No,
I think they
Well-
could definitely take the 8th seed.
Since
I would say yeah because they're in the
Weak.
East.
Weak
but-
conference.
We conference at 8th seed.
If they did what they talked about, but they're definitely not doing, where they just take the top 16 teams, there's no way. But they're not going to
They
do
could
that.
get 8 out of. They could at least get 8 though in the Eastern
East.
Conference. Yeah.
Yeah, basically the 5 through 8 are all up for grabs.
What's one player you guys like to that might get traded by the end of the trade deadline?
That's hard.
Maybe
a tough
Jeremy. No, Jeremy Lamb's a little old.
About 25 at the most, maybe 26 at that. I think he's a little
Was
bit
he?
younger than us.
Jeremy Lamb, was he the one that was on the Thunder?
He was on Thunder and he was on the Rockets also.
Oh, okay.
And then he's been all over the place. I think he was on at one point on
I
the
think
Nets.
Marvin Williams could get traded.
I could almost see like Howard or Zeller getting traded.
Yeah, that's
But-
Well, nobody's gonna take on
Yeah,
Howard's
but like who's gonna take him?
take Howard's contract. But I think Marvin Williams could go because he's how old's Marvin? He's getting up
He's
there
about
looking at
30.
30 something.
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
Because Lamb is only 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would almost want to say,
Well, it's kind of a tough one. They got pretty.
I really
Interesting
don't. I
team.
don't see a strong need for a trade.
No.
Marvin Williams plays an offensive power forward, so they have a good backup in Johnny O'Bryant, who plays a nice rebounding one. And they have a lot of interchangeable guards with playing, and then they have small forwards. I don't really see.
Yeah, they don't
a
really
need
have
for
a lot
trade.
that you'd want to trade,
I
really.
would say if you're gonna trade anything, it would be one of your backup point guards, just for
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
They got Ramon
1, 2,
Sessions
3,
might be
4.
gone.
Yeah. Actually, Ramon Sessions. Well, that and I saw is that he's actually a free agent. They haven't
Oh,
No.
okay.
really said that he's coming back or not.
Oh,
so,
okay. I've never even heard of Bryant T. Weber. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he'd be worth anybody to have him or not.
He's like 2-3 years in.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
I would want to say probably Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb is probably going to
Might
get
be gone.
gone.
He's the one with the most value to get rid of.
Right.
He's not going to be a starter no matter how you slice it.
Right. So he'd be
And they-
expendable when he.
Yeah, they picked up Monk as their shooting guard backup. So
Yeah.
Well, that being said, guys, there is the first 4 teams in alphabetical order that we are going to go into deep talk like we just did right here, and we're going to do 8 sessions of this, so that way there's only 30 teams, so
Oh, there's 30 teams.
7 sessions, and then there's going to be 2 extra ones at the end of this thing. Also, about another month, about actually less than that, 2 more weeks until NFL starts, we might start another discussion of NFL teams, what's the worst team, what's the best team, so on and so forth. With that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and end this video right here, and we'll see you guys later.